Welcome to Mattress Talk TV. I'm your host, Phil Darman, and this is our last episode in our series on coil systems. And today we're looking at pocketed coils. You'll find these on your higher end mattresses. A lot of manufacturers are using them now. The main reason for that, this coil system is not wired together like the other coil systems that we've seen. So when the coils move on one side, it doesn't transfer to the other side. They call it motion transfer or motion separation. So it's a pretty interesting coil system. So let's bring that in and take a little bit closer look. So this is the side angle of this pocketed coil system. The first thing you'll notice are these big foam rails on the side. That's called foam encasement. They'll take the coil system, glue heavy foam rails completely around the perimeter. So when you sit on the side of the bed, you have firmness. You can also sleep a little closer to the edge without feeling any wires. So we've cut that back so you can actually see the coil system here. Each coil is in its own individual pocket, and they attach these pockets in the middle of the coil so they don't turn or twist, but they leave it separate on the top. Now the nice thing there is this coil can really compress before it affects the other two coils. That really helps with your motion transfer, so you don't feel the other person tossing and turning as much. Now let's go ahead and cut one of these pockets open so we can see what the coil looks like. And you see how the coil popped up here. These coils are called power packed. What they do is they make the coil actually taller than the pocket itself. Then the coil is compressed inside of that pocket. It puts some tension on the spring, can make it a little bit firmer. Now in this coil, you'll see it has a lot of turns. It has more wire than in some of the other beds that we looked at. It is a little bit thinner gauged, but a pretty good system, especially if you're trying to reduce that motion separation. So let's go look at the top of this bed. So the top of the coil system, what you'll notice that these little individual pockets on each coil all the way across give you a pretty nice surface. There's not a lot of stuff that can stick down in here. So when you put your paddings on top, you really don't have trouble with your padding materials sticking down inside of the coil. Also, this coil is very flexible, so you don't get as much pressure on the paddings and on the bottom side of the bed. Now this particular model has 800 coils in it, so it's a really high coil count as well. So what they're hoping here is you're going with a little bit thinner wire. It's not offset, it's not squared because this coil system's not wired together. But to make up for that durability-wise, they're going with a lot more coils. The big claim to fame again here is the motion separation and the transfer you get from side to side. When these coils here move, you don't get as much movement over here. So pretty high-end coil, a little harder to manufacture, so it's a little more expensive. So you see these in your more expensive mattresses. But for somebody that's a light sleeper, it's a very good system. So that's the advantages of a pocketed coil system. In this series, we've looked at quite a few. We've looked at Bonnell coils, offset, Luraflex, pocketed coils. That's what you're going to find in probably 95% of the coil systems out there. So we appreciate you watching. If you have any questions, send us a note. There's still a lot of other information out on coil systems. We just don't want to overwhelm everybody. So we'll probably come back at some point and look at coils a little bit closer. Just remember, it takes three things to make a good coil. It's the number of coils, the gauge of the wire, or how thick the wire is, and the coil design. So thanks for watching Mattress Talk TV.